Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a thriftlet video where I take items I have recently thrifted and upcycle them to more my style. I think y'all gonna enjoy today's video, so let's get started on the projects. I don't normally pick favorites, even though I ask y'all to do it every single week. However, this week, y'all, this basket is my favorite. You are not even gonna believe how cute it turns out. So let's get started on this video with my favorite project. I thrifted this basket at the Goodwill bins and it's actually the perfect size to fit in Ren's closet. I currently throw all of her dirty clothes underneath her bottom shelf, and this basket fits perfectly under there, so I'll be able to put her dirty clothes inside of it. Since it is going in her room, I want it to be pink. I am using Fusion Mineral Paint in the color Peony. My friend Jackie at Ruth and Ruby sent this to me because she thought I would really like it for Ren's room, and I do. It is the perfect little girl pink. Now, really the best way to paint a basket is with a sprayer, but I just have white in my sprayer and I don't want to change out colors. So another way to very easily and quickly paint a basket is just to water down your paint. So I did about half paint and half water. You really want it thin enough where it just kind of goes into all the creases of the basket by itself. And it really did not take that long to paint this pretty big basket. It took me about 20 minutes. Now, I did want it to be pink and not have too much of that orangey tone coming through. So after I had one layer of the watered down paint on there before it dried, I went back with just the regular paint itself, and that made it just a little bit more thicker and really just that pink color that I really wanted. I also thrifted this pillowcase and thought it went perfectly with the pink on this basket. So I want to use this on the inside to line this basket. So I'm just going to cut off the bottom half of this pillowcase. And then I'm going to hot glue it on the inside of the basket just where I stopped painting. Now you can create a removable liner by just kind of folding it over the edge of the basket. However, I did not want to do that, but it is definitely an option. From my craft stash, I pulled an embroidery hoop, and I really wanted a smaller embroidery hoop. However, I did not have any, but I did have these rings that I thrifted. I'm pretty sure they're old curtain rings, but they are the perfect size. So I just chalk painted one white and distressed it. I want to add a W for my daughter's name, so I'm going to be using the W from IOD's typesetting stamp and also one of the little florals from the Alphabelly stamp. Now, the Alphabelly stamp, you can 100% just use them on their own, but they are also made to work with the font stamps. So we're going to layer these two stamps. I'm going to put the Alphabelly stamp first. I positioned it where I want it to go, and then I'm going to put my thin mount in the center of my embroidery hoop and just push it down. That way I know exactly where it needs to go when I put it back down. I'm going to be using IOD's ink in the color Ocean's Blue. This is going to be a brighter blue than the China blue that I normally use, but I think it'll be perfect for this project. So I'm going to stamp the Alphabellys first. Then I'm going to take the mask that comes with your stamps. They are these little clear pieces that are the exact same size as your stamps. So if you want to layer your stamps like we are doing for this project, you will use these masks. So I'm going to put the mask on top of the Alphabelly stamp that I just put down, and now I'm going to stamp my W. And what happens is the ink goes onto your mask instead of onto the piece that you just stamped, and this is how you layer stamps. And I think it really just adds a cute little extra vintage detail to this piece. Now I just need to cut out my fabric and add it into my embroidery hoop. Now for the smaller hoop, since it's not an embroidery hoop, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add hot glue to the back of it and then just place it onto the fabric where I want it to be. I just want to have like a cute little floral pattern in this one, and then once the glue has dried, I'm just going to turn it over and cut off any excess fabric. Oh my gosh, y'all, look how precious this came out. So I'm going to take a little ribbon and a little jute twine, and I am going to add this to my basket. I adore everything about this basket, but I especially love the little tags that I created using a small embroidery hoop and those curtain rings. That is so adorable, and I think I'm going to be creating more of these to put on more stuff because I love it. I got these two huge pieces of pottery at a garage sale for $1, y'all. I loved the shape and the size of them, and this is where I want to put them, on the floor next to my fireplace, but the colors just does not vibe with my style. I want to do an old chippy looking finish on these pieces. However, I don't want all the base color to be dark. So I'm just going over with some gray just randomly here and there. And then I'm going to take a baby wipe and just kind of rub it in. That way all the colors kind of come together and the base color is a little bit more muted and not so dark or blue. I want to use milk paint on here to get that chippy aged look that I want. However, there's no sealer on these pieces and there's nothing really to resist the paint and to make it chip off. So I'm adding some DIY wax with a chip brush just very randomly all over the piece, and that'll help to make the chippiness happen that I want. Now, I am not an expert at using milk paint, so I consulted the experts. I asked Rachel at Stella Rose Boutique, where I ordered my milk paint, and also Sasha that owns Sweet Pickins Milk Paint. They told me to add some beeswax or some sealer to my piece before I applied the milk paint, and that would make the chippy happen, and I'll just, spoiler alert, it worked. I ordered Sweet Pickins Flour Sack and Truffle because I've used Flour Sack before, so I already know that that color is too of a bright white for me. I really wanted a warmer white, so I ordered Truffle, and I'm going to put about 1/4 Truffle to the entire container of Flour Sack, and it came out to be the most beautiful color. We'll call it the perfect warm white. So I'm going to mix these two together, and the directions say you should mix half water with half milk paint. I did not pull out any measuring utensils. I just eyeballed it and everything worked out. I probably added just a little bit too much water, but I think that ended up working out perfectly because this piece had so much texture. So having that extra water in it made it so much easier to paint. So I'm going to go ahead and get 1 coat of paint on my piece. This is what it looks like after my first coat of paint has dried, and it is looking so good. I'm seeing lots of chippiness where I put that beeswax and lots of crackle happening. Now, even though I think it does look good as is, I prefer to do 2 coats and just have full coverage, and then I can always distress it back if I want to. But the plan for now is to just get the paint on and see what happens. Another way to get crackle is to apply heat as well. So if you have a heat gun or a blow dryer, you could use that to help dry your paint faster, and sometimes that helps the milk paint chip. All right, guys, I got 2 coats of paint on here and it's all dry, and I am obsessed. So if you've never used milk paint before, it is very, very matte, even matter than chalk paint, I think. It is just such a beautiful finish. Now I'm having lots of chippiness, and what I want to do is take a dry paper towel and just rub it all over my piece and just kind of let that chippiness come off. Now if I wanted it to chip even more, I could wet distress it, I could sand it, but I think I'm just going to do the dry paper towel and leave it like that. I am absolutely loving the way that this is coming out. This came out exactly like I imagined. It is very neutral and fits perfectly into my home, but it has all this texture and all this crackle, and I absolutely love it. Y'all let me know if y'all have ever tried Sweet Pickins milk paint and what you thought about it. I created this piece in a Christmas video, and if you want to see exactly how I made this vintage inspired embroidery hoop stand, I will leave a link in the description below to that video. But now it is spring and summertime, so I want to update it for the new season. And one thing I want to do is I want to take it apart and I want to paint the hardware. It just bothers me that it's silver, so I'm going to paint that black, and I'm also going to add antiquing wax to the embroidery hoop. I have a piece of drop cloth cut to size, and now I want to add a spring summer transfer to it. So I'm going to be using the lemon drop transfer. It is 4 pages of these beautiful painted lemons, and they are all different. So I picked out 2 images that I thought would look good inside this embroidery hoop. I'm going to tape my transfer down just using painter's tape, and then I'm going to remove the white backer, and then I'm going to use the transfer tool that comes with your transfer, and you just start rubbing it off. And I don't know if y'all could see, but the leaf starts to change colors, and that's how you can tell it's being released from that clear paper. Now, I have transferred many times before onto drop cloth and have had no issues, and it did transfer perfectly fine onto this drop cloth and looked amazing. However, where I came into an issue is when I put it inside the embroidery cloth. I started to move and manipulate the fabric, and that caused my transfer to rip a little bit. So I definitely wanted to tell y'all about that, because if you try to do this, I highly recommend putting your fabric in the embroidery hoop first. That way, after you apply the transfer, you aren't moving and manipulating the fabric. Now I want to add the word lemons to my piece. So I'm going to be using the new letterpress stamp. Y'all, this one comes with 3 different font options. And just remember, when you are using your stamps for the first time, you want to go ahead and just lightly sand them. This will help your ink stick better to your brand new stamps. And this is something you just do just the very first time you open them up, and you don't have to do it again. So I'm going to pull out all the letters that I need to spell out the word lemons. And I'm going to be using the font at the very top, the one that looks like a letterpress. I'm going to pick up the letters using my thin mount, and do y'all see that? I did not grab the E. And if y'all look closely, I am putting it on incorrectly, and I did not notice. This was a rookie mistake. I am about to stamp the letter E the wrong way. So I was just not going to tell y'all about this and start from scratch. However, like I said, every lemon in the lemon transfer is different, and I just really loved the ones that I had picked out. So what I decided to do was grab some ribbon out of my stash, and I am going to stamp the word lemon onto the ribbon and then glue it over my mistake. And I actually think this looks even better. So I'm glad I just went with it and made lemonade out of these lemons. Sorry guys, I just had to throw that one in there. This project definitely had its issues. Like I said, if I would do it over again, I would make sure my fabric or my drop cloth was in the embroidery hoop first before I apply the transfer. But I think I would leave this ribbon detail because I actually love the way it came out with the ribbon instead of just stamping onto the drop cloth. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Y'all enjoyed today's video. Do not forget to leave a comment below and let me know what was your favorite project. Now, if you are wondering what is this behind me, these are all the new shelving units that I recently bought at the bins if you watched that video, and they are now filled with all IOD products, because if you missed my big announcement, I now sell everything that IOD carries, and you can shop it year round on my website. And of course, I will leave a link in the description below. So now, whatever products you see me use on my videos, you can buy directly from me. So I hope y'all are as excited as I am about this new adventure. I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I will see y'all next time.